I opened up Liveweave and I minimized the JavaScript window because we don't need that. So I made this viewing window a little bit better. We are going to use CSS down here, and here's our HTML. Okay, I'm going to start by getting rid of this right here. I don't want that. And that just comes in the Liveweave template. And I want to start with our divs. So what we're going to do is we're going to create several divs here. And the first one that we want to do is we want to do an ID. And we want it equals, and we're going to call this container. I think I got to have an equal sign in there. Okay, and we're going to close that div right there. Okay, so inside this container, we want several other divs. So I'm going to pull this one in header, and we can close that. And below the header, we are going to have a nav bar. We'll call it nav. Close that. And the next thing I want is, I think I'll bring this back up here. I want a content area. Div stands for divider, and that's what we're kind of making. Okay, and I want to go with one more here, and this is going to be footer. Whoop. Got a footer. Close that div. Okay, so we have all of these divs right here in the container div, and we make the container div so that we can control the size of these, and we just put everything in the container. We get it nice and organized. Okay, so we've got our structure here. In the content area, I do want to put some just some text. So I'm going to do just a paragraph tag. And right inside the paragraph tag, I just want to put some text in there really quickly. And Liveweave lets you do that really easy. Put some basic text in there. Okay. In the header, and I don't think I'll capitalize that. I want to put some text in there too. This is the header. And let's make that an H1. Okay. So we have that. And then in the nav area, we could probably put something in here. Maybe like UL unordered list. And on that unordered list, I'm going to need some lines here. So let's see. So I'll put nav1. How about that? Copy and paste this real quick. Okay, so I've got a few things in there just so I have some information and here's some content. So in the footer, I would like to do an H3. Come on now. Okay. And in that H3, we're just going to put this is the footer. Okay. Whoops. Got up here, should say. This is the header. Okay. I think we've got our structure now, and we've got all the divs, we've got all the sections. So now what I want to do is I want to go and work on the CSS. So the first thing I want to do is I want to target the container. Because I made these an ID here, I start with a hashtag and then container, and I want to do the little curly Q brackets, and then I can put the attributes for the container right here. So what I want to do for the container is I want to start with a background color. You see it helps me out here, background color. And then the color, I'm not sure. I mean, I could put a color in here like gray, and it will work. But they really want you to put the color picker. And so you can go to a color explorer here, and you could pick a color if you want to from here, and it would be perfectly fine. Or if you would rather go to like a website like HTML color codes, you can go to one of these here, and that will help you pick a color. So I thought I might pick a nice gray, and then here's the code right here. So let's put that in there. Okay, so we got a nice gray in there. I also want to put some padding. So padding here, and the padding I want to put is 5 pixels. Just give it a little room around. Okay, maybe I want to go with 10 pixels. So that's a little bit better. I like that. Okay. I can also go with the size if I wanted to. Width, colon, and then we'll go, let's just like go 800 pixels. And we can also do a height, or we can do like a height auto. 8. Right, and for now we're just going to do a size, or we can just do auto, but for now I'm just going to say 900 pixels. And so you see it changes our size here. Okay, so now what we want to do is we're going to affect another div. You'll notice I've got some little warnings here. A couple things here is it says it doesn't want us to use ID selectors. We could use class instead. And generally, if you're only going to have one container, an ID is perfectly fine. You can ignore that. If you're going to have more than one container, then you want to use like a class. So that's the part there. Here it says sometimes on some browsers, if you put padding in there, it changes the sizes a little bit for the different browsers. So it's something to be aware of, but not necessary that you change. Okay, so now I want to affect the header. Oh, What do we need? We need a hashtag, don't we? Okay, and we need the curly Q brackets. So now let's affect the header. So let's start with a background color. And again, we can go to our other websites, and we can pick a color. I'll just go with like a white here, kind of whitish color. So let's put that color in and see how that looks. Okay, so now I probably want to go with the size. I want to go 8. And I want to go, let's say, 150. Okay. And then you might want to go like with the width, colon, and then let's just go, we said this was 800 and we had some padding of 10 and 10. So it would be maybe like 780. Let's see if 780 works. If you try it and it doesn't work, then try something else. Let's try 790. See if that looks right. So the margins aren't quite the same. So we could try. We could try to go 800 and see what it looks like there. Okay, that looks right. Okay, now if we put some padding in here, it might change some things around. So we'll have to look at that. Also, I think I want to do is I think I want to center this container. So I'm going to go margin. And no, we want to go margin left. Margin left. Auto. And then we're going to go margin right. Auto. And that should center your container right here. It doesn't work top to bottom, but it centers it right to left. So that's a good thing. Okay, so now we've got the header. Now what we can do is we can change the padding on this. It may mess things up, so let's try it. Let's see what happens. And we'll just go like 5 pixels. So look what happened there. So it moved it a little bit and changed it. So what we might want to do with the header was we might want to change this now to, let's try to 790 and see what it looks like. Whoops, that was 890. Okay, that looks better. That's more what I wanted to do. Okay, so now I can affect things like the nav bar, and I can affect the content area, and I can affect the footer. And it's pretty easy to do. As with the header and the footer, I could probably use a lot of the same things here. Also, what we need to do is we need to float these. I always think of floating like a book. How a book, you read the words from left to right, and then when they get to the end, they drop to the next line, and that's kind of what the float does when I float left. So you'll find you might have some issues if you don't float these. So I'm just going to do that real quick, and I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to return, and I'm going to paste it again, and I'm going to change it from header to footer. Footer, and you'll see I've changed the footer. I want to make the size maybe like 50, and see how that does. Okay, and then I want to do the I also want to do like the content area also. What I'll do is I will put it right here. Content. Okay, and I don't want to make it white. And I'm going to make the width the same, and I'm going to make this auto. And I'm going to change the color of it. And I'm just going to type in blue for now. We could find the color code later. Or I could do, well, there we go. It's going to give me the color code. Look at that. That's nice. Well, I don't like that blue. How about aqua? Okay, that gives me an idea of what it looks like anyway. Okay, the content area I'm going to make less. I'm going to make, let's make it like 600. Okay, and then we need to put the nav bar in there. So let's do that. Let's get the nav bar in there. Okay, and we want to make the width like, let's make it 150. Okay, so I think I got the nav wrong here. It's NAV. Oh, I see. Look right here. I got a little error there, don't I? And so we'll make the nav bar a different color. I don't know what bisque is. Oh, there it is. There we go. And you'll notice now that this is smaller, that this content area is moved up because there's room. And see, we got a little bit of room over there, so we probably should make something a little bit bigger. Maybe we can make the content area a little bit bigger. Maybe we could go with 620 and see if that works. How about 630? Okay. And with the nav bar, we can also, you see, you got this little space here. So we might want to make that, bigger. So we could make that, if we made it the same as this, it would be fine. So instead of making it auto, I wonder what would happen if I took it out completely. Okay, so it didn't really change anything there. Instead, we might want to, we'll have to figure out how we're going to do this. We could make it a size, and it may change this here instead of making it auto, so we might have to change that. So we'll have to look and see how we want to do that. I can always, like I said, I can always make this a certain size, but if you know that this text is going to change and you want it to change, like if you add some, this grows, then that would be an issue. One thing we could do is we could put both of these in a container, and we could call it the, I don't know, the information container or whatever like that. And then we could make those have attributes and, have these 100%. So let's do it this. Let's say if we could do this, we could do 100%. See if that changes something. So there's ways around what we're doing there. Okay, well, that's not quite what I wanted, but you can see it makes it grow. So there's some things that we can do to change this. Okay, what I want to do now is I want to put some spacing in between here. And again, we can do that with padding if you want to put some padding, but maybe I should put some padding between these two here. So if I want some padding on the top, or not padding, I'm sorry, that would be margin. We got to do margin. So let's try margin real quick. Margin top. And let's just put 5 pixels and let's see what happens. Okay, so we got just a little spacing there. So let's do a little bit more than that. Let's do 10. Okay, I'm kind of liking 10 better. So I can do that in the content area. And so we've got a little space in there. Okay, and then if I wanted to space these out, I can change my margin right to left. But remember, when I do that, I might have to change the size of these. So if I go with the nav bar, if I want to go margin right, and I put 5px, it drops that down because the size doesn't work anymore. So what I can do is I could change the width of this. What if I changed it to 45? What would happen? Okay, so I changed it to 45 and it's popped back up there because I made the margin a certain amount and I have to reduce the size of this. So that's just a way of doing this. Okay. Okay, so for your assignment here, what I'd like you to do is I would like you to create a little web page template just like mine, but I want you to see if you can get a 5-pixel margin between each of these. Make your content area bigger. Make sure your nav bar doesn't drop all the way below. I want some pixels in here, 5 pixels, and then add your footer in there because this won't work with the footer. So I need you to fix that. Okay, I won't tell you how to do it. You'll just have to figure out how to do that. Okay, so fix that all up. Make it all fit with margin all the way around of at least 5. You want to do 10, you could do 10. That would be fine. And see if you can get that fixed up. And that is your first look at CSS. Now there is one more thing that you have to know is if we're going to use the CSS with this document here, we're going to have to tell the HTML that we're using the CSS. And there's a way to do that, and I want to talk about that later, but there is a line in the head that we're going to have to put in there so that they are attached. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, so don't worry about that. Okay, when you're done with this assignment, what I'd like you to do is I would like you to make it look like mine right here. And you can see that I have all my different parts. The container is the gray, header's white, nav links are a bisque color, but you can make it any color. This is an aqua color or teal color, black footer with white text. I have some links right here. They're not actually active links, but that's okay. You'll notice that I removed the line item bullets, and I have no text decoration there. So I want you to see if you can figure that out. You may need a little bit of help on that, but if you can get it to look like mine right here, that's what I want you to do for this assignment. So go ahead and start working on it and see what you can do. And good luck. I will see you next time.